Alrighty, so we're going to do a fun kind of semi-goth look today, but still on the more natural side. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cover up these dark circles. I'm going to use some concealer. A little bit under the eyes. A little bit on the eyes. I got this at Dollar General. It's the Believe brand. Just take your sponge and just kind of like that. Rub it in, rub it around, kind of blend it out. Now that our under eye bags are covered, we're going to take our foundation and do the same thing just on our eyes. For foundation, I'm going to use Wet n Wild's Soft Beige. I'll put a little bit right there, and right there. I'm going to take my blender and again just go ahead and cross the nose so you don't have to worry about that later. Alright. Now that that's all blended out, and you can see the bags are pretty much gone. We'll finish them later with contour. Alright, I'm going to take my palette from Amazon. It's the Beauty Glaze Gorgeous Me eyeshadow tray. Super cheap. And we're going to go in with this color. It's a little bit of a maroony color. And take a small brush. Find where my crease is, because I have hooded eyes. And we're going to draw it right on and a little above the crease. And repeat on the other eye. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to take a Q-tip and kind of clean it up right there. Now that that's cleaned up just a little, I'm going to take a fluffier brush and just kind of buff it out a little up top. Once I've done that, I'll do the other side. Then I'm going to go in with this one right here. Right on that buffed out area. Like that. Do both sides. Now that that's done, you're going to come back into the palette and you're going to grab some of the darkest brown. You're going to come back in on that crease line and add some depth. And you can just literally just kind of push in to the crease and it'll get real nice and clean right there. Do the other eye. Now that I have that, I'm going to go back in with the concealer. And we're gonna just put a little bit on each eyelid. We're gonna take a Q-tip and spread it out. So gonna give it as clean of a line as possible. And depending on what color you're gonna put there, you might need to do this a second time before applying the next eyeshadow. Alright, now that that's nice and back to almost my skin tone, we're going to come in and we're going to grab this one. And I'm just going to pack it on, just for that little shimmer. Other eye. Once that's done, you're going to come back in and grab some of these little brown colors, these darker colors, and you're going to come in here to this corner and create some depth. So we're going to go with a medium brown first, and then we're going to go in with a darker. And then darker still. Don't worry about fallout because we haven't done anything on the face, so we'll wipe it up with a wipey or a makeup wipe or something before we move on. You're going to recreate on the other eye. So see, I wiped off most of it with the big fluffy brush. Now I'm going to get a makeup wipe and clean it up real quick so we can move on. Alright, so I'm going to take my makeup wipe and just clean up all that under eye right there. Now that I got most of that off, we'll continue. Okay. So now that that's done, I'm going to go back in with this brush. It's a little thicker, still small and rounded. I'm going to grab a little tiny bit of black. I'm just going to come right in here and kind of buff and blend as you go. Like that. On both sides. Once you're happy with how that looks, we'll move on. Gonna come in with your foundation now. We're gonna do the face. Make yourself look like a cat, or put on your war paint, or whatever you want to call it. Then you're going to take your beauty blender and your setting spray, and you're going to wet the beauty blender and start spreading out the foundation. Alright, we're going to go in and contour now, so I'm going to take my contour stick from Wet n Wild, and I'm just going to, right under my cheekbone right there, a little bit in the corners of my forehead, tip of my nose. This is mainly to make my nose look thinner because it's thicker. And then I'm going to take that same concealer from the first time, put some right here. Over here, right there, chin line, and nose, and just a tiny bit right there on your forehead. You're going to want to look for where the light hits your face, is where you're going to put the brighter color. And then you're going to take that beauty blender again and just start blending it together. And you can see just the difference that contouring makes. Now we're going to take our loose powder translucent powder and another little smaller sponge. And we're going to bake. This powder is the translucent photo focus powder from Wet n Wild. Alright, while we're baking, we're going to do our eyebrows. I like to do those last instead of first because I always end up getting foundation and stuff on them and messing them up. So we're going to go in with a Wet n Wild black from their FM Fantasy Makers pigment palette. Take our flat angled brush. And I have a lot of eyebrow hair already, so I'm just kind of filling it in a little. If you have less, then you have to draw it on a little more. But it's whatever. Just fill in right here where I have the thicker part of my brow with the entire flat part of the brush. Then I go in with just the corner. To fill in my tail and my eyebrows because they're non-existent and they don't exist anymore. Like that. Then I go in with my concealer and I highlight my slits where I want them. And then just kind of press it so it's not super noticeable that there's concealer there. And that way it blends in nice. Now that that's done, we'll do our eyeliner. Okay, for eyeliner, I'm going to go in with the liquid black e.l.f. eyeliner. Mainly because my Wet n Wild is empty. I'm going to start at the lower lash line and draw upwards along that angle I put in with the eyeshadow. Because I have hooded eyes, I do it a little different. And meet up right there. Fill it in. Just kind of look like a 4. Once that part's done, and you've drawn your 4, and fill it in just a little bit like that, and then follow your lash line for the rest of the liner. Alright, we're going to go with mascara before we put on our lashes. And you just want to darken up your lashes so that they can't be seen under the false ones. Once you're done with that, you're going to grab your lashes and your glue. So we're going to take our strip lash and the duo glue that I have. It's on a little wand. You're just going to apply it to the back of the lash, covering the entire piece. Once you've got the glue on the whole lash band, you're going to let it dry for a little bit. You need it to be tacky, like almost dry. Alright, once it's tacky, You're going to bring it, find your liner, stick it to the center, and then work the corners. Gets a little tricky sometimes. Hold it in place, let it dry the rest of the way, give it like 10 seconds or so. So I switched it up because that eyelash was just I made it too thick. So we're gonna try again with a little one. Same steps, just gonna go in, stick it right to your line that you made with your eyeliner, right at the lash line. And there. Do the other eye. Okay, now that your lashes are on, you're going to take that big fluffy brush from before and you're going to brush off the powder around your face. Now I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild blush highlighter combo. We're going to take a flatter blush brush, I can't say that, and we're going to run it right here on the pink side, right on your cheekbone. You don't need it here, it goes up here. And blush till your desired amount of pink is there. And then do the other side. A little bit right here. And that's just personal preference. You don't have to do that part. Fan brush on the silver side to lay that highlight. Other side. Right there. And right there. Once that's done, it's just lipstick and any more sparkle you want, and we're gonna be done. For lipstick, we're gonna do a two-tone. I'm gonna pull the lip rings out of the way. Easier than taking them out. Going to take black. And right out here on both corners. You're gonna make this kind of shape. Once you have the black done, you're gonna go in with red. Fill in the rest of your lip. Pretty much we're done. If you wanted to put glitter right here, you could, but since we use the shimmer eyeshadow, you don't really have to. Other than that, we would fix our hair. And we're done.